Director of the Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center at the Consulate General of India in Durban, Dr. Chaitanya Prakash Yogi, Mr. Kerlin Govender, Mr. Tilile Zama, Mr. Sikure Chunu, Mr. Piyush Khandala, distinguished guests and online viewers. Namaskar and welcome to episode 6 of Antartaan, or in tones, a series of interactions between two artists about their experiences of synchronization of their inner tones or internal rhythms with expectations of performances and programs. Indeed, today on this episode of Antartaan, we have two very dynamic and interesting musicians with us, and that is Mr. Carolyn Kanda and Mr. Tilile Zama, who will be interacting with each other. Carolyn G is an architect by profession and an ardent musician, also the founder of Jeevan Mukta. Mr. Tilile Zama is a jazz singer here based in Durban. So we welcome Tilile Ji and Carolyn G today on episode 6 of Antartaan for their interaction.
Thank you so much for the warm welcome, Shastri. Hi, everyone. It's good to be here.
Thank you so much, Shrishti, and to everyone participating in this conversation. I'd like to firstly just thank you for giving us this opportunity to speak about something that we truly and dearly love. So thank you, Dr. Yogi, and to the Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center.
Carolyn, so how do you define your inner tone? What does this mean to you?
Wow, inner tone. This is a very, very deep understanding to say inner tone, but it is something, I think it is the most important part of expressing any type of art or any type of feeling. It is basically expressing the essence of who you are, and this is what I believe as inner tone. Expressing the true self, the true being that you are, without any filters. It's every being in their element. You know, when they say when somebody is in their element, and I think Zama, you can agree with me that we have to get into that element,
definitely,
to experience and express the art that we so love.
Definitely. And I think it really does help just staying grounded and just constantly reminding yourself who you are and what you're about.
Exactly. And in doing that, your inner tone explores your creativity, your ability to connect to not only yourself, but to connect to other people as well, or other beings. But essentially, I think the most important part is to connect to yourself first. Get to know who you are as a person in order to feel
and give out the best of yourself.
Yes, and be in the moment. You know, we so often worry about what's happening in the past or what's happening in the future, but we never usually just stay in that moment and say, this inner tone, this inner being, I want to just experience this now. And
that's a very important point. And I think a lot of us, we need to get into that, you know, being in the moment and smelling the roses and just, you know, especially now, I think in the days of technology, everyone is permanently whipping out their phones and, you know, trying to capture to remember for future, but not being in that exact moment. But we need to be in touch with that internal rhythm. I completely agree.
It's one of the most, I think, important parts of anything, not only just in music or in art, but in anything that you do. Everyone needs to be in touch with their inner self, their inner tone, their inner being, the inner internal rhythm. You know, in order for everyone to vibrate in a way that we can all accept, understand, feel, and connect with people without any trials and tribulations or challenges for in that respect. I mean, Chalile, would you like to explain maybe an experience where you've connected? I mean, we all connect to inner tone in our own ways. Maybe the next question that I'm going to ask is, how do you get into your musical practice? How do you get it into your musical practice and performance, this inner tone? So,
So I guess I'm forever trying to surround myself with situations and people who just, give out positivity and who grow me. Like I've always been friends with younger people, older people, people of all backgrounds. So I think that definitely helps me channel my internal rhythm and just makes me grow also as a human. And yeah, makes me appreciate being in this beautiful city of Durban where, we all exist together, you know. So yeah, into my performance, I think all of those things about me, they add on and they inspire me and motivate me and just add on to my being as just the focused person that I am and the focused musician that I am. And I always try and do everything that I do to the best of my ability in the many hats I wear as well. Yeah, I know you also have a day job outside of the music thing. You also, you've got a day job. We're both trying to get our masters, we found out, So life is so demanding that we've always got to be in tune and always got
it
to
is
be
true.
true to ourselves. And I think that definitely, you would agree, probably
Yes,
channels into our music. And it's,
definitely.
yeah, yeah,
I think, and I'm sure you would agree with me on this part, is that you have to have balance in life, and especially when it comes to this whole thing of uh, having the inner tone express itself in all aspects of life. You need to be in a state of balance where you have a little bit of everything, you know. And one of the main things is that to always remember that you are learning every day. You are learning from every
yes,
experience, you're learning from every situation, and you are absorbing from not only, uh,
yeah,
I mean, your own personal lessons, but also through interacting with other people, that you actually start developing this this inner tone in a way that you can actually channel it through your art.
definitely.
um, Staying grounded is very important, knowing your craft. That's
Mm.
one thing. But also the discipline that comes with it.
Yeah,
I mean, uh, sometimes I believe that the real the real art is not through the technicalities as such. It is also through the personality. It's also through the way
yes.
you treat music, the way you treat people, the way you
And
treat.
your fellow musicians as
Yes,
well.
yes, yes. I mean, and when it comes to a performance, it's an, it's a culmination of everyone coming together, like-minded people experiencing this extreme energy, and learning something that's special and that everyone can connect to. So,
Definitely.
so I'd say that practice plus being in tune with nature and yourself, right? Nature is a very, I feel nature helps us in so many ways, to stay grounded.
Mm,
And
mm.
it also preps you for a performance. You have to connect to something that's natural, because music is a natural occurrence.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
It should be effortless. It shouldn't be where you're under pressure and you're like, oh, I'm so overwhelmed by this experience. I don't know how to connect. That shouldn't be the case. You should be
definitely.
connected. Yeah. Please
And
share your thoughts on
you
that.
know, the first point that we spoke about being in the moment, we would miss a lot with nature and everything that happens around us. We would miss so much if we're just not existing in the moment. So it
Mm,
comes back again to that, to just being
exactly.
in the moment and just, appreciating everything for what it is and for
Yes.
every moment that it is. Like for me, the lockdown, taught me so much. you know, no one knew, Guti, when we started out the year last year, no one knew that we were going into a situation like that. But you
Yes.
either had to sink or swim. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of people probably, because they're not used to practicing just being with themselves and just being steady and still, they didn't have that opportunity to appreciate the time and use the time wisely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I must just share with you, because the lockdown has taught us a lot, and it has also, I mean, for most people, I mean, everyone, even this platform, it's allowed us to expand on the opportunities of how to actually connect to people,
So
right?
true.
But besides that, it's given us the opportunity to connect to ourselves and to address a lot of our own personal understandings about inner tone, right? That inner rhythm,
Definitely.
right? So people are basically going back, understanding themselves, listening to themselves, feeling who they really are, in order to then share with the world something that they can say that is going to benefit everyone. But for me personally, how do I use it in practice and in performance? I feel music is such a sacred thing for me that I try and find at least in a week, say three days in a week, where I'm in my own space. I'm just listening to a drone, which we call a shruti, or a tanpura sound, and I just start singing, and I just start feeling, but not singing for any intention of wanting to do a performance or do anything as such. It just becomes a form of me kind of bonding and having time with myself, connecting to
Connecting is
myself.
so important. Definitely.
And in that time, the amount of, I would say, messages and ideas and um, what can I say? Messages, ideas, and just ways of how I can actually express this feeling. So it's basically the inner tone that's kind of breathing in that space and
Yeah.
giving off all these ideas to actually create.
And if you did not give yourself that opportunity and that time and that space to just
Yeah,
be, you probably wouldn't be as productive.
I agree with you. So lockdown helped us a lot.
Definitely.
It did give us
So,
that
Carolyn, would
Yes.
you say that do you consider yourself an instrument?
This is a beautiful one. I've always heard, not heard. There's something that says, "Be like a flute, hollow, you know, hollow like a flute, and allow this, I would say, higher consciousness, divinity, to create sound through that flute. You know, we are all just instruments. Till this day, I can never say that I am the one totally responsible for whatever is happening. Whatever art is being expressed, I feel that
Yes.
we are gifted this opportunity to express it, but it doesn't come from us, and
Yeah.
it is not
Yeah.
from us. It is an energy that it's flowing through the universe. Whatever we do in life that has some type of effect and uh, s- um, has taps on the emotions doesn't come from us. It comes from whatever
A
you may
higher
call it,
power. A
right?
higher power.
Whatever you may call it. And when you can understand that, and when you allow yourself to just say, I am only but the instrument, and everything else is in your control,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
you are not in control of whatever happens after that. And whatever happens after that, you can feel it, as well as the other people can feel it as well. And when they feel it, it's like it's like an energy flow that just continues and continues. And
Yeah.
this is like breath. This is like breathing. It's nothing too complicated. It has to happen, and it has to have a rhythm. It has to have a frequency. So yes, I believe that we are instruments.
I totally agree. And I think the fact that when we allow ourselves, when we're in that space, we give ourselves that opportunity to allow that channeling to happen and that flow through the instrument to happen, then yeah, it's a good thing, and we all should, be in touch with our internal rhythm, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, Chalile, I'm going to ask you this question, right? Did you ever feel that your performance is not done by only um, uh, something, well, it's done by something greater and bigger than you, and is supporting you as a power or energy when you're singing? I know we're speaking about that, but I want to ask about that experience that you have.
I think even in my compositions, there's some songs that I can
Yeah.
compose just by one sitting, and the complete song is just completely there. And that definitely can't be me on my intelligence or my being. There's definitely beyond me, like way beyond me. And also, I think the responsibilities that we have as artists to actually communicate also the issues that surround us as society. It's a very big responsibility because we are able to provide that entertainment education, if you want to call it that, So yeah, definitely, I would agree that it is way beyond me. Yeah.
You picked on a very important aspect, and it's something that I strongly believe in. Is music has the power to connect to people even beyond just spoken word, right?
Yeah.
Music influences the way people feel, the way they can understand situations. Even if there is a conflict, music can be a tool to actually break away that
Channel
conflict.
peace. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
sound is a natural occurrence. It is what created it's existence, right? That sound. So people can connect to a natural element, a natural vibration. So that's sound. And music has the ability to bring people together, to also fill their lives with something that you some people look for it outwards, but music can heal you. It's a therapy. It
Definitely.
has the potential to do things that even I can't even understand, right? um, and as in Indian classical music, we look at saintly composers, and in through um, every
Genre.
culture, there's always saintly composers. Now, these saintly composers have dedicated their lives, they've surrendered their lives to just music and singing. But what their life is their message, right? So basically, whatever they do is their message.
Wow.
And what we've derived from it, what we've understood from it, is we've gained so much of support, gained so much of inspiration. We are able to connect ourselves because of the amount of sacrifices that they've made in surrendering themselves to music.
This art
I have to
form.
just make mention that for me, I feel if anyone has to ask me about religion or spirituality, I would say that music is the religion and is the spirituality,
Yeah.
because there's never a day that I can't think of my life without sound.
But
Even
also
if I'm not
you
hearing,
were
even
referring
if
to,
it, true, even if I'm not hearing it,
yeah.
I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about the sound.
Definitely. I mean, I was actually remembering songs I was doing in standard two, and they still so vivid in my mind. However, many years later, I'm not revealing my age. But it's so amazing. It's not even about the language. You don't even need to understand the language. Music is so connecting
Yeah,
worldwide. But also, you were speaking about the healing aspect of it. And I just realized that, especially now during a world pandemic, it must have been a saving grace for so many people out there
true,
to just
true.
have that company.
Yes.
Yeah.
Music definitely healed a lot of people during that time. I mean, it healed me to an extent. Um, I had the virus, and I must say that through God's grace, I'm here, and I must say that music played a very important part of that. Every day I would sit and I would listen to some of the most therapeutic sounds, you know, and
Yeah.
this is what gave us hope and inspiration. It
Mm.
filled our lives with some. Music can do something that you cannot even explain. It's like explaining love. What is love? You can't even explain that. It's a natural occurrence. It's supposed to happen. And yes, no, I think that was what that is what I experienced. Tulile,
Well, we thank God for your life, Carolyn, and that we can sit here today and that you're able to beat the virus.
Yes, no,
Mm.
definitely. And there's a question that I'm going to ask you, Tulile, right?
Okay.
I know that everyone asks this question because it's so good to talk about inner tone.
Mm.
But did you ever feel, or did you feel sometimes a conflict between the inner tone and the outer expectations of performing or presenting?
Well, yes, especially I think with corporate gigs, it can get a bit tricky because sometimes people may book musicians as just a by the way, and maybe there's a huge fountain and ice sculpture right in front of the stage, and you know there's not even visibility to the band, and you're like, but why am I here? So I think I've found over the years it's very important to communicate in advance the expectations between the organizers, between the musicians, and just try and figure out in advance what is expected of us as the people providing the service, but also what does the client expect of the musicians, and just try and get these things sorted out in advance, because it can actually hinder your performance to walk into a space and maybe they thought, oh, but you need sound, and it was never discussed in advance. So I just always make sure prevention is better than cure, and everything
You
is
know,
just discussed in
mm,
advance and sorted out in
yes.
advance, and expectations of who's bringing what if we're bringing our own sound. Yeah, and on your side?
I totally agree with you, but I'm going to talk about firstly the musicians, and then I'm going to talk about the audiences. So
Mm,
the conflict between this inner tone and the outer expectations.
yeah.
Um, Firstly, whenever you're performing, like when I've performed,
Mhm.
I've always made sure that everyone in that team of musicians understands the aim and the objective of what we are doing, so that everyone is on the same page. Because when everyone is on the same page, they're like-minded, they understand that we have
Mm.
this objective, this is what we're feeling, and they need to feel included, they need to feel heard, and feel that they are not being pushed, right? Then the performance becomes harmonious because there's no inner conflict, right? um, what happens then when that is done is the audience can feel that harmony in the performance. But if there's conflict on stage, when people are not aligned, they're not thinking on the same wavelength, or they're not in the element.
Competing
That's
with
why,
each
yeah.
other
And
on
I think
stage.
we did mention this to Leela yesterday when we did
Mm.
speak, and it was, when you get onto stage, make sure that you leave all the baggage at that first step. Everything that you have in your mind that may hinder your feeling and your performance, leave it on off stage, because the stage is a sacred space. It's a space where you have the power. You have the power in your hands to deliver the feeling, the emotions to the audience, and the audience receives it directly. There's no filters, it's direct. So if you are not clear with your energy and you are not channeling a good energy once you get onto stage, that is going to then affect the
The
audience.
performance and the
Yes,
audience, and yeah,
yes,
the overall picture.
yeah,
Definitely. I'm very lucky, like these
yes.
days, the project I'm involved in is with my pianist and friend of 18 years. So in
Wow.
terms of just that musical chemistry, but also getting along. I am
Yes.
so lucky that, we're doing
Yes.
this project and there's none of those bad vibes or even
Yes.
competitions. Because sometimes, especially in my genre, hey, things can get a bit heated.
Chalile, I must say that we have experiences. I don't look at it as bad experiences anymore because I've enjoyed my opportunity with every single artist that I've performed with because they've brought out in myself the good, I mean the best and the worst of myself, and through those experiences, I've learned the type of person I am. It's still happening because I'm learning every day. And I must say, on this platform, I do wish that we do get the opportunity to perform together because I can't wait to
Be in the same
explore
space and
this
just,
thing, this
yeah.
inner tone. But but I must say, we learn so much from people, and not only in music, but in every aspect of life. People teach us the greatest parts of ourselves, and it's never about the other person. It's never
Mm,
about the other person. It's always about ourselves. And if we can see it in that way, then we're just having fun. We just have to have fun in
definitely.
this journey. And
I love the fact that you say every
yeah,
experience is a learning opportunity. And
yes,
sometimes you're figuring out who you want to be. You might not be there yet, but you can tell it's okay. I definitely like these parts of whatever this is teaching me,
yes,
and this is
yeah.
the direction I'd like to head.
No,
Yeah,
definitely.
love it.
We can't bring the whole world down if we've had a day that or a performance that didn't go as
As
we thought it would
planned.
go.
Mm, mm,
Because that whole performance, and I've had performances in the past where I've said, you know what, I messed it up, and then I'd get calls the next day saying, you know what you
wow.
did was amazing and beautiful, and I'm thinking to myself, how did you see it and I couldn't see it? So that is why it is so important to leave everything off stage, because whatever you experience has to be from the inner tone. Um, to leave it, the one question I really want to ask you and I want to know is, what is your goal or aspiration to achieve um, internally through your musical journey?
Well, always say I try and make music that's relatable to everyone, whether you're young or you're old or you come from a different background than me. I always try and make sure that I'm making music that is relatable, be proud of, even in 20 years. So you won't find me doing any thing that I wouldn't be able to do in front of my grandmother. Writing lyrics that are. So yeah, just staying true to myself. I believe in just staying in my own lane and yeah, just being true to myself and my inner rhythm.
Yes.
And on your side, what are your goals besides obviously wanting to collaborate with me?
Yeah. I think right now that's number one.
Definitely.
Okay.
It's also high on my list. I don't think this was a chance. We did not
Um,
meet by chance, and
yeah,
we'll definitely make
true.
the most of it even in the
Yes.
future. But yes, looking forward to
Um,
hearing about your goals.
okay, so I think for me, wherever the journey takes me, I think I'm open to accepting whatever it is. I don't want to define it just yet because sometimes we try too hard to get whatever we want, but we miss out the opportunity that we're experiencing right now. But definitely, it is to grow. Um, from what I was yesterday, I would like to be just ahead in the next day. I want to be able to understand myself better so that I can express the full potential of who I am and what I'm capable of doing.
Mm.
And at the same token, to to be heard. I think to be heard. The experience that I'm having is I want other people to also to
Share
also
it.
experience it, you know. I don't want to make the effort to perform for someone. I just want to perform for my own being and others to enjoy it as I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
So because it's a very sacred thing to me. It's a very spiritual thing, and it doesn't matter what it is. It could be just conversing. I mean, I love to converse with people. I love to share thoughts and ideas, and this for me is also art. This is I think the most beautiful way of understanding and hearing people. I want to be able to hear people from here, you
Beautiful.
know. So yeah.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Kiranji and Tulilaji, for your very profound experiences on your journeys of inner tone. You were right, Kiranji, you did say music is like love. And when we do listen to our favorite songs, it releases a chemical in our body called oxytocin. So,
Yes.
indeed, thank you so much. We come to the part of the program where we will now have a jugalbandi or duet performance by the very talented Mr. Neela Zama and Mr. Kiran Govender.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
it's the time now for the real work to start. Okay, so please forgive us. I mean, technology is there, but remember that we are feeling it's the inner tone that's going to come out, right? I can show you the world. Shining, shimmering, splendid. Tell me, princess, now when did you last let your heart decide? I can open your eyes, take you wonder by wonder, over, sideways, and under, on a magic carpet ride, a whole new world. A new fantastic point of view. No one to tell us no, or where to go, or say we're only dreaming.
A whole new world, a dazzling place I never knew. But now from way up here, it's crystal clear that I can see a whole new world with you. Unbelievable
Unbelievable
sight.
sight, indescribable feeling, soaring, tumbling, freewheeling through an endless diamond sky, a whole new world.
Don't you dare close your
A
eyes.
dazzling place I
Hold your breath.
never knew.
It gets better. Know like a shooting star. I've come so far. I can't go back to where I'd be.
Thank you for that.
Oh, thank you so much, Tulilaji and Kiranji, for that beautiful classic indeed.
I
We've come
Shishni,
to the conclusion.
I want Lile to sing one more song for me, right?
Sure, definitely.
She's gonna sing a Tamil song for me, Chinna Chinna Ase.
That I
Oh,
remember from
wow.
when I was in Standard 2.
Wow.
Standard 2.
Please.
Excuse the Zulu Tamil, guys. Excuse it. Chinna chinna se, sirada kumma se, muttu mida se, sirada kumma se, very lava tuttu, muttu mida se, very lava tuttu, chinna chinna se. Thank you.
Wow, that was indeed such a beautiful Tamil song, very beautifully sang by you, Tulilaji.
Let me do a Hindi song. Okay, let me just. तुझसे नाराज नहीं जिंदगी, हैरान हूँ मैं, ओ हैरान हूँ मैं। हो तेरे मौसम सवालों से परेशान हूँ मैं, हो परेशान हूँ मैं। हो जिनके लिए सोचा ही नहीं, दर्द संभालने होंगे, जिनके लिए सोचा ही नहीं, दर्द संभालने होंगे। मुस्कुराए तो मुस्कुराना कभी दो लगता है, जैसे होठों पे कर्जा रखा है। तुझसे नाराज नहीं जिंदगी, हैरान हूँ मैं, हो हैरान हूँ मैं। हो तेरे मौसम सवालों से परेशान हूँ मैं, हो परेशान हूँ मैं, हो परेशान हूँ मैं, हो परेशान हूँ मैं।
So breathtakingly
Beautiful.
beautiful.
Thank you
Oh,
so much, Kiranji.
yeah.
Go to Lile.
Asebe kubele kutapa, umbuko ngotwane. Osebe kabele kutapa, umbuko ngotwane. Sebe kubele kutapa, umbuko ngotwane. The collaboration is on, guys. It's on.
Indeed, that is
Thank
Kiranji
you.
and Tulilaji for their multifaceted singing ability is indeed so beautiful. Thank you so much, Tulilaji and Kiranji, for joining us today on episode 6 of Antartaan. With that, we've come to the conclusion of episode 6. Then I'd like to introduce Mr. Superior Tunu from the Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center at the Consulate General of India in Dublin to render this evening's vote of thanks.
Namaskar. Namaskar. Greetings to all of you. On behalf of Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center at the Consulate General of India in Devon, I am so delighted today to deliver a vote of thanks on today's episode 6 of the program, Antartaan, meaning the Antartaan. This is a series of interaction between two great artists about their experiences on synchronization of their inner tone. Allow me to thank Caroline Kavendaji and Miss Churile Zamaji. Their interaction was very interesting. You know, I was taken away by so many things, but when I am one-on-one with one of them, I will disclose why I was so taken away. Caroline G, you shocked me. I'm like saying to you, you know, and to Ile G also. So I'm saying to you, you know, so the interaction that you had this evening was very interesting. It was so wonderful. So on behalf of Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center, I'm like to say to Anyavat, to Caroline G, and Siabonga Kakulu, to Miss Tulile Zama G. To both of you, may God bless you, and God gives you courage to continue with entertaining the masses of South Africa. And we believe that God opened the doors for you to perform internationally as long as you are going with your humility. On behalf of Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center, Danyavat to all of you. To Director Chaitanya Prakash Yogi, Director of Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center, Sri Harinayam, Sri Piyush Kanderwal, thank you very much for taking part on this wonderful program today. To those who participated online, we would like to say Thank you very much for taking part on today's program. Please visit our Facebook page so that you'll be updated about all Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center cultural activities. To Caroline G, to Lile G, thank you. May God bless you. To all of you, have a wonderful evening. Namaskar.
Namaskar. Namaskar.